Yeah.
So in the meantime, President Trump confirming a report that ICE raids he delayed last month will indeed start this Sunday.
There's nothing to be secret about. ICE is law enforcement. They're great patriots. They have a tough job. Nothing to be secret about. If the word gets out, it gets out. It starts on Sunday, and they're going to take people out, and they're going to bring them back to their countries.
This after the New York Times reported the operation will last several days in at least 10 major cities across the U.S. and focus on thousands of illegal immigrant families already under deportation orders, some for failing to appear in court. President Trump had some additional words to say about that.
When people come into our country, we take those people out, and we take them out very legally. They all have papers, and it's a process. And I have an obligation to do it. They came in illegally, they go out legally. What the Democrats should be doing now is they should be changing the loopholes. They should be changing asylum.
Meantime, some Democrats are pushing back against the raids. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi took time during her news conference yesterday to offer advice to the immigrants when ICE comes knocking. All right.
An ICE deportation warrant is not the same as a search warrant. If that is the only document ICE brings to a home raid, agents do not have the legal right to enter a home. It's simply not enough. Families belong together. Everyone in our country has rights.
So, Jessica, the deportation orders are for 1 million people who have been through the process. They've been through the court system. They've had their day in court. And yet now Democrats are advocating for them to continue breaking the law by not answering the door when ICE agents show up.
The concern that Nancy Pelosi is speaking to is a development in the scope of what these raids are. So when the New York Times reported on this and they had gotten leaks that this was going to happen, it said that they could also pick up collateral deportations. So that's not just the person who missed their court date or who may have committed a crime beyond illegally entering the country. That's somebody else who lives in the household. And that's an extremely dangerous precedent. What Nancy Pelosi is doing and a number of Democratic members that I wholeheartedly support is telling people to know their rights. Go to the ACLU website, contact an immigration lawyer if you are in this position to find out what your rights are. It is a dangerous precedent to set that ICE agents can come into a home and pick up people who are not under deportation orders just because they are there. You will also be separating families. And acting DHS Secretary McAleenan said that that was a concern of his, that people would be separated from their parents. There would be U.S.-born children who are going to lose their parents, and then that feeds into this border crisis again.
Okay.
Ron Vitiello, formerly Border Patrol, ICE, told me on the program yesterday that, in fact, it's what Katie said. It's what Katie's talking about. These are people who already have been.
I'm talking about the collateral deportations, that now they've said that they can pick up other illegal, undocumented people.
So they have the right to do that
But
anyway.
they don't have orders to be picked up. And if you look at public sentiment on this,
it's
a majority of people. No, but, well, the New York Times reported it. Everyone can go and look at it. They said that they can pick up other people living in the household who do not have status papers themselves.
Who are here illegally, who broke the law to come into the country.
But Katie, that's not what these raids are about. They're marketing it to us that these are people who have broken the law or not gone to court, not just because they're illegal.
President Obama led on this issue in terms of the numbers of people that he deported, north of 3 million, according to our Brain Room research. And they, too, were going after the same group of people who were on a list, ready to be deported, had committed other crimes outside of crossing.
But I'm not talking about those people.
I know, but had crossed into this country illegally, and then additional crimes. They were kicking those people out of the country. How was that handled differently than this in terms of, or do we know?
They were all, listen, we don't know, obviously.
Okay,
there are instances.
We don't know.
No, Harris. We do know that there were not orders given out from these leaked documents, and we'll see what happens, that there were 1 million people on a list, and then 1,500,000 get picked up because so-and-so's wife is sitting.
I want to get Chris in here real quickly. Doesn't this attitude towards non-deportation of anybody, even if you have court orders and you've been through the system, play to the 2020 Democrats who say that we should just decriminalize entering the country without permission?
Well, if this was an easy issue, we would have probably solved it before. It cuts both ways politically. Democrats being branded as the party of open borders, and the position that they're taking is damaging for them. At the same time, if you're breaking up families, if you have parents who are ripped away from their children and sent to a foreign country and families torn apart, that looks bad for Trump. So this one ain't easy, and if it was easy, we'd have fixed it.
Okay.
Amen.
Well, moving on now.